Hello there. And we are live. See ya, ladies and gentlemen. You are welcome to another episode of, people, your best show, the Arsenal Clinic with Dom and Claude. I don't know why it sounds so nice to start it with Dom and Claude instead of, obviously, to my channel, it should be Claude and Dom, but it sounds more better with Dom and Claude and people. Maybe that's just because we have a very, very, very amazing brother with us. So maybe that's why his name sounds so cool to start the show with. How you doing, brother, man? Talk to these people. What's up with you?
Yeah, very
Big
well.
ups to BBK Sports is the first in the chat to mock me up.
He's here.
Man wants to see where I'm at, but it is what it is. We'll come to BBK Sports. My brother Dom, talk to these people. How you doing, bro?
Well, I think it's absolutely lovely that we've got a second lease of life after our 80s cop duo show. Dom and Claude. Chasing the bad guys down.
Exactly, mate.
I'm chasing them down the alley. You clothesline them at the end.
Exactly,
You're
yeah, man. BBK Sports, big ups. That's my broski. People, yeah. BBK Sports, subscribe to his channel. Lovely personality. Man has been warning us that, tread carefully, Arsenal fans. Don't get too giddy. Don't get too excited that the league hasn't been won, But me on the other side, I've been saying, you know what, yeah, we've not pretty much closed it, but we're getting near to it and we're going to win the trophy. See, people, yeah, these are the things we will have to face this season, yeah. BBK Sports, why are we acting that a Premier League is one of the easiest things to win since sliced bread? BBK Sports, come on, man. Don't do this, bro. Come on, man. BBK Sports, come on, man. You've been through this road, my brother, yeah. You know the Premier League isn't. See, Dom, let's get straight right into it, innit? Yeah? Arsenal, yeah, got a painstaking draw, brother, against Brentford away from home. Let's start with where you are mentally after that matchup. What did you think about the match? Do you think that match is it's 2 points dropped, or do you think we escaped? I thought we escaped. You would listen to my footnotes later on, but I need to get what you think. I thought Arsenal escaped out of Brentford Community Stadium with a point.
I think when you look at the game overall, then definitely we escaped with a point. I think Brentford were the better side. I think going there, Brentford are a good side on good form. By the way, the last 10 games, Arsenal top on the form table, Brentford second on the form table. So it gives you an idea on not necessarily their quality, but their ability to make life really difficult for teams. And I actually thought kudos to Manchester City because they went there and won that game 1-0. And I think that was the type of game it was going to be. I went for an Arsenal win. I think probably heart over head a little bit there because Brentford are a good side. So I think it's both, right? I think you can be really disappointed because it was a real opportunity. You win that game. You stay 6 points clear. You've got Wolves next, chance to go 9 points. That's real scoreboard pressure. But equally, I think the idea that Brentford were going to roll over and have their tummies tickled was, never going to be the case. I did think this is a game where we missed Moreno and Havertz, right? Both missed it through injury because of their physicality in the middle of a park. I think that's really what you need for Brentford. And I wasn't necessarily surprised to see Eza struggle in that central position because while he's a skillful technical player, he is physically lightweight. And I think against Brentford, you do need that sort of heft. Although I thought Odegaard, before he got clearly hurt his knee, actually is also not a physical player, actually did do well. I think it's definitely, though, a disappointing result. But I think the meltdown that's happening about, the manager must go, this is the end, this shows that City are coming back, I think that's premature. I think you're making a really good early point there. And I actually recorded a video that will go out on Monday, hopefully, or Tuesday next week, if it goes out at all, on this exact issue, that we forget how difficult it is to win the Premier League. Because you look at the recent seasons, you go, well, Liverpool and Manchester City getting 100 points, Liverpool last year winning at the Canter because all of their rivals just had shocking seasons. But you look at the sort of Manchester City's last title win, we went all the way with them. And even then, I felt that other teams around made life difficult by not being able to sort of match the pace of Arsenal and City. I think the league is much closer this year and is much more your traditional Premier League title race. With sides like Brentford getting, good performances against sides right the way down to Brighton. Brighton are what, 15th maybe? I can't remember off the top of my head, but somewhere in around there, 14th, 15th. They are a tricky side. You're going that far down and they can make life tricky. So Arsenal definitely disappointed, definitely missed an opportunity, but the title race far from over in my view.
Yeah, but see, before we go into the analysis of the game, because we have our brothers like BBK Sports down here, Kai is down here. We're watching the match together. My broski Drew Gunners was down here. Pito, my guy from Puerto Rico, gives us $2. He was here. Yeah, it was a disappointing draw on the day. Yeah, mostly with the fan base here that came to watch it up with us. Yeah, it was so horrible. We couldn't create. We lacked creativity. People like Eze, we found one in the middle of the park. No creativity at all. Martinelli missed a full-blown chance to just close the game. For us at the dying minute. Arsenal only had one shot on goal. Can you believe this? Dom, one shot on goal. That's not good enough when you're at this. When you're playing for the title, innit? And our defender, Gabby Magalhaes, it was said that he was so lucky not to be sent off the pitch. He would have gotten a red card after monstering, a second tackle on Dango Ouattara. Lots of chances for Thiago to just put the game to bed, but it didn't just work out for him either. They made it hard for us in terms of set pieces. They were dragging, they were pushing, they were kicking. Lots of times David Raya was fouled inside the box, and even the referee couldn't even come to our aid. It was problems, pandemonium after pandemonium. They bullied us up the park. See, Dom, Arsenal, this is one of the things that I was saying before that matchup, even when I was in shows, I was saying, you know what, Arsenal have been through this physical games before early in the season. We've faced Newcastle, physical side, very horrible place to go to, playing away from home. And they have 6+ players, dogged players, Joe Linton, Guimaraes, Tonali, in the middle of the park. They make it hard for you, when you go there to play. When we went away from home to the Vitality Stadium to play against Bournemouth, where we won 3-2, 6-foot+ guys there, all there playing, they made it hard for us, but we won the game. We went away from home to Ellen Road, where we have a very, very tough physical side to play there at the time, and we won them. We beat them up. So in the physical tests, in those games that had to test us physically this season, Arsenal have been able to actually pull out from there with 3 points. But with this one, we were bullied, outgunned, totally outmarked. There were lots of pressure, clearly in our back four. Man, these physical challenges, have Arsenal mentally passed the hurdles?
Look, as I said at the top, I think we really miss Moreno or Havertz in that sort of midfield because of their physical presence there. And I don't like a midfield three of Moreno with Zubimendi and Rice. So I'd have preferred Havertz into that role. But this was always going to be a physical game. And you're right. Look, overall, we've passed that test more often than not this season. I do still think that between now and the end of the season, as I was saying about how these sort of relatively easy title runs in the last few years, I don't see that being the case this year. I think that all sides will drop points. We saw City struggle today in the FA Cup, and I think that's partly mentally because it is difficult when you're playing a side of the low quality of Salford relative to City, of course. But I think that, they're again showing their vulnerabilities. Again, they got at today. They got at Anfield, but they won the game. And I think there's going to be plenty of twists and turns along the way. This was a physical battle, as I say, one where we missed those players, but you have to find a way without. And we didn't on this occasion. And that's what makes it disappointing. And you're right, the lack of chances created is a consistent theme at times. That said, when sides of the quality of Brentford camp in like they did. And to be fair to Brentford, they create a chance of their own, but it is
Yeah.
difficult to create the chances. But that, Brentford did what teams accuse us of doing, which was basically sit in and play for set pieces. We don't sit in, but you can. I'm not going to blame Brentford for sitting in against a side like Arsenal. You saw what happened when Leeds came out. We tore them apart.
Yeah.
And that's how they play. So they're very good at doing it, but it is difficult to create chances. And 9 times out of 10, we do create more chances than that. I'm not going to kill Martinelli for missing a chance. I think he should have taken it on his left foot. First on,
Dom. No,
but
no, no.
hang on,
Accountability should be taken.
hang on,
No, Dom. No,
no,
Dom.
wait,
We're gonna have a
wait.
fight here.
No,
We're
wait. Let me
gonna have a
explain.
fight
Let me
here.
explain, then you can
Dom,
come back.
accountability should be taken, bro. I mean,
No.
you saying you're not gonna, you're not gonna fight off Martinelli, bro. He's a professional. Dom, I'm sorry, we have to go at this, bro. Yeah, at this stage, at this time, you should be taking those opportunities. Mostly in a place where these opportunities don't come like that, bro. We need to take these opportunities, bro. Yeah,
No,
you're a
what,
professional. You should be getting that at the back of the net, bro. But
what,
he's a professional in this
what?
country. He's played in so many games in this country. He should be converting that, bro. It's a
No.
mentality thing at this point. We should be converting those opportunities. And you know what? Yeah, we can talk about the manager all we want, but sometimes, yeah, to what extent, yeah, do we start looking at players and saying, players, you have to take some form of responsibility and accountability in these games we're dropping points at. There has to be some form of responsibility and accountability attached to these players. You can't be missing those kind of goals. But Declan Rice he got a chance to have a crack at it. Just right at the 18-yard box. Just score it. Shoot once. And he's looking for a pass. Dom, I don't agree with you. These players have to take some form of accountability.
I was going to say the point I was trying to make was I'm not going to kill him for missing a chance from a mentality perspective, because I don't think it's a mentality perspective here. So he's been killed of bottling it because of pressure. I don't think it was that. I agree with you. Players, as well as the manager, have to take accountability. I've said it on many occasions this season. I actually put the performance at Wolves down more to the players than the manager. You could see how unhappy the manager was. That was on the players. So I agree with you. He should do better there. And I agree with you that he has to take some responsibility for it. The point I was going to make was that he is being accused of lacking the mentality to take the big chance there. And I don't agree with that. I just think he made the wrong decision to take it from his left foot to his stronger right foot to try and score. Because the speed Kelleher's coming out, he's got to hit that first time. If he hits that first time and Kelleher saves it, then absolutely fair play to the goalkeeper. But he takes a touch and that allows Kelleher to get there. And that's where the criticism I was going to say comes in. Where what I was going to say was, I'm not going to kill him for mentality, because he has taken big chances. If you look at the third Gyökeres goal,
but not in the Premiership though. But not in the Premiership though, Dom.
His goals in the Premier League
he's looked whipped in the Premiership. Champions League games, okay, I agree, I admit it. But yeah, Dom, yeah, in as much as we want to praise these players and give them that mental boost, we also have to use the cane at the end of it and just whip them just a little bit. So let's get some form of clarity down here. His form has been dreadful in the Premiership. Maybe not recently. He's been getting onto some kind of displays that should enable us to field him. But I mean, bro, when you get those kind of chances, you have to put them to bed.
I agree with you. I'm just saying I don't think it's a mental issue. I think you're right. He should have scored or done better. Credit to the goalkeeper as well. But I don't think it's a mental issue, which is what a lot of criticism has come to be on him, which is where I don't agree with that. I do agree with you as well, by the way, that his Premier League form is nowhere near the form in the Cups. Again, no, I don't think that's a mental issue. I think that is Martinelli, and I've said this now for 2 or 3 years. He had that great first season, the first Premier League campaign we went to try and win.
Yeah.
He was immense in that campaign. Why? Because there was a lot more space, because teams didn't fear us or have the respect for us they do now. And Martinelli thrives on space. That is why we're seeing him be so effective in cup games when teams have got to try and win it, apart from Chelsea, who bizarrely sat in for 90 minutes against us and thought, oh, yeah, we're 1-0 down. It's the 93rd minute. We probably should try and score. But, the space there is there in those games, and I think he's a player that thrives in space. He's not a
Mm,
player that thrives when there is a lack of space, and I think that is the reason behind his form in the Premier League in terms of statistically and performances
yeah.
versus the cup competitions. But as I say, I agree with you. I think the players, everything is. Thank you very much. Everything is on the manager always. And then,
Mm,
ironically, it's on the players when we win. No, it's got to be a both. It's a combination of both. So I absolutely agree with you that the players have to take responsibility. He has to take responsibility for the miss. As I say, it is very much. I do not think it was a mental issue where he thought, "Oh, I'm not capable of scoring this." I just think he made the wrong decision, and he shouldn't make the
mm,
wrong decision because he's a good enough player to make the right decision. He has to hit that first time. He hits it first time, then I have no problem at all with the miss on any level because at that point Kelleher's making a great save if it doesn't go in. But he allows Kelleher to make the save by knocking it left foot to right foot, which allows Kelleher that extra half second which he needed to make the save. So I agree he should have missed, but I don't agree he's lacking the mentality.
See, Dom, yeah. I know, so
Oh,
of
oh,
course, me and
sorry
you.
to interrupt.
Yeah.
Big goal at Villa Park.
Who scored?
10-man Villa are now 2-1 down.
Oh, 2-1 down. People, they were 1-0 up when me and Dom started the show. And right now, they've Newcastle have overturned that lead. It's now Newcastle 2, Aston Villa 1. I knew that one of the big wigs, one of these carbs would be taken away today. And glory, hallelujah, I want it to be Aston Villa. But again, yeah, this is a progressive, something that's happening right now in progressive time. Dom, just away from the Arsenal thing, we'll come back to it. If Aston Villa goes away from the FA Cup, does it free up much playing time? Does it free up, does it free them up from games that they will be playing so that they can concentrate on that title chase with Arsenal? Does this have any effect, or you think, hey, it's not going to have an effect even if they're off the FA Cup?
I think the first thing here is I don't think they've tried to throw this game at all deliberately, but I think it's very reminiscent of sort of again going back a couple of seasons to where we were. They don't have the squad depth, particularly the injuries to their midfield, their three midfielders, to go deep in an FA Cup, carry on to Europe, which is where they still are, and a league. I don't think they're in a title challenge. I never thought they were, to be honest with you, but to sustain good league form. And I think while I don't think he's tried to throw this game at all, I think this will
Mm,
be a bit of a blessing in disguise for Villa because I don't think they have the squad to go in 3 competitions, and it will allow them to focus on the Premier League, which I think is something that will benefit them. Because I think for Villa, I think if they really want to step to the next level, ironically, I know this is going to sound daft, probably winning trophies now isn't their best bet at it. We sort of see Newcastle win the League Cup last year, and
yeah.
in the summer, people didn't want to go there, partly because they were a mess. You could sort of see the confusion. No director of football. The Isaac noise doesn't help. Being in the northeast of England, it's necessarily attractive to big players sometimes. It's a lovely part of the country, don't get me wrong, but if you're offered a chance to go to the bright lights of London, you're probably choosing that over northeast. There are other factors as well, of course, but it is a factor, right? So, but we've seen those guys struggle and yo-yo, and Villa have yo-yoed a little bit as well. So I think consistently getting in the Champions League for Villa financially probably gives them the clout to go out and get the players they want. And we know they're struggling this season with PSR because they don't have the 3-year window and they don't have
Mm,
the revenue of a club like Arsenal. So I think this will be a blessing in disguise. I think it will help them get the Champions League. And I think that's probably more
yeah.
important for them right now. But I equally don't think that Emery's gone, do you know what? Let's go out on purpose. I definitely don't think he's done that.
Yeah, definitely. To be shocking if he does that anyway. So see, back to our skirmish, and Oregon Gunner. We have, of course, me and you do shows together. Yeah, sometimes we have to get a little bit tense up in here. So I don't know what you're talking about, my bro, because last time I checked, you were so angry when we lost against Brentford. So what are you talking, bro? What are you talking, Magic? Why should I allow him explain? I should let him, Dom, yeah. To what extent, yeah, do we look at the manager and say, manager, this is all your fault? Or do we look at the game holistically and say, you know what, yeah, maybe the players, yeah, have to take responsibility and accountability for some of the, you know, for some of the lapses we've been seeing. Like, it wasn't Mikel Arteta that said, "Hey, Martinelli, don't take your chances." It wasn't Mikel Arteta that said, "Hey, Declan Rice, when you get the ball in the 18-yard box, don't shoot. Immediately you get the ball." I mean, it wasn't him. You know, the manager. I mean, props up the team to an extent. It's now the team that should go out there and actually get the job done. And to be very sincere with you, poor displays from the team. Like, for example, a player like Eze, what a game. Horrible game. I mean, after all the whole issues he has been having in the team, after I mean, Havertz injured, we'll be coming back to that later on. Martin Odegaard not favored by the manager again, and the manager gave you a starting berth in the team, yeah, and then you go out there to do something like that. Totally horrible play from him. No inspiration whatsoever. No creativity whatsoever. Yes, I mean it was fast on the ball, but was in need of being fast on the ball and slick on the ball with no chances created, with no shots on goal. It was just completely drab. When you look at a player like Martinelli that should be doing something, totally doing nothing. Uh, Trossard had a bad game because Saka, when he came on, did nothing. To what extent should we look at the players and say, you know what, yeah, it's also your fault?
Well, I think I've always said that both the manager and players have to take both the praise when things go well and the responsibility when things don't. You know,
Hmm.
if let's take Chelsea, the Chelsea game as an example, right? And I'm just going to use this sort of as
Yeah,
a neutral example. I think in many ways that one was, from a Chelsea perspective, more on the manager because that was clear tactical instruction that you will not go forward as a wing back, you will stay back, we will keep a five at the back
yeah,
shape at all times. Now, that's fine if you're winning the game 1-0, but you're effectively losing a game 1-0 at that stage. That's where you can go to the manager, absolutely not on. But equally, you've got experienced players out there on the pitch. You have to go, do you know what? I know the manager said this, but we're not getting anywhere. Let's just go for it. You know, you've got experienced players like that. And I use that Chelsea example from a Chelsea perspective because I think it illustrates it really perfectly. We're taking it away from the emotion of Arsenal. Um, so I felt that this game, he picked the right available side. Odegaard wasn't fit to start from my point of view. It was a risk, and I don't think he really wanted to risk Odegaard, but felt he had to. And as I say, I actually thought Odegaard played well until he got the knee injury in the goal. Then he really struggled after that. And I think if there's any doubts about that knee tomorrow, he's got to miss that game against Wigan. I think ideally you'd want to get him some minutes to get some fitness back in, but if there's any doubts about it, just don't bother. I think Saka, in some ways, in this game, gets a bit of a pass because he's just coming back from injury and there was a bit of rustiness. Similar with Calafiori when he played the previous game, looked rusty, and I think that's true of Saka. But Saka hasn't hit the heights this season, so I think you're absolutely right. Again, I spoke about the Wolves game earlier. For me, that was more on the players than the manager because I just felt mentally they weren't in the right place. Equally, I think Mikel Arteta probably should have recognised that they weren't in that place before kickoff and gone, boys, what the hell, right? You can tell if generally speaking, where people are at from that point of view. So again, well, I put that Wolves game more on the players and the manager.
Newcastle have just gone 3-1 up.
Have they? Oh, yes, so they have. Yes, so I think it's both. This one, I think he made a tactical adjustment at half time. I don't think he quite got it right first half, and I do think we missed that physicality in the middle. There's not a lot he can do about that, but equally, he should, for me, have said, guys, we've got to play more front. We've got to play more aggressive. They're going to be up for it. We've got to match it. And I thought we had to move the ball quicker and faster to the wings, and we didn't do it in this game. That's where the space was going to be in this game, and we didn't do it. So from that point of view, I think we wasted the first 45 minutes on that. That's the manager. On the responsibility for individual bits on the pitch, as you say, he's not going out there telling players to, commit a foul on the edge of the area or, not attack a cross or, miss a chance, um, I doubt very much he told Martin Odegaard to be the man at the back post for that throw. Like, if he did, then that's all on him. But there's no way he told Martin Odegaard to be the man at the back post. You do not put one of your physically smaller players at that back post when you know that's where they're going to attack. So I think you're right. It's, as always, it's a combination of both things. There are times when you can criticise Mikel Arteta absolutely rightly. There are times when the players also have to step up. And this one for me, I don't. It was frustrating, but equally, Brentford aren't a bad side, but I'm still disappointed to have not won it.
Yeah, definitely. Of course, here today says big ups, chaps. Oregon Gooner, our brother says 2-1 to Arsenal, to Newcastle. I'm sorry. Yeah, of course. Newcastle now leading 3-1 down there. Oh my days. What a red card can do. And that's at Villa Park, people. Big up to Kai who dropped Arsenal dominations link down there. Big ups to
Yeah,
you.
thank you for doing
Yeah,
that.
big up to Kai. Yeah, exactly. Big up to Kai. Big up to Pito, who gave us $2. Our brother Pito. Pito was so disappointed in that game. He left the channel quickly. He normally sticks on, but he watched it. He was just so pissed off and he left. But big up to you, Pito. We have another chance against Wigan, and me and my brother Dom will talking all about it later on. Still on this game, Martin Odegaard. What a stinker, Dom. What a stinker. Do
I
you
don't
think this
agree.
man is ready? Is he ready? Should he
I
still
don't
be our
agree.
captain?
Look, I think on the captain, I don't really care on the captain. I don't think a captain is what it was in the 90s, right? Me and you must be of a similar age, right? We grew up with Tony Adams, Roy Keane, Vieira, Vinnie Jones,
Vieira,
Mabba at Spurs.
mm,
Exactly.
Tony Adams.
Yeah, all of these guys I've mentioned, right? That's what captains were in the 90s. I don't think the game's in the same sort of state. And I think what's really important is the leadership group, because that's what managers talk about, right? Across the piece now. And you have a load of players. If you take Arsenal, their leadership group now is Saliba, Saka, Gabriel, Rice, Odegaard, different personalities, different leaders in there. You look at Liverpool just a few years ago, when they were really going toe to toe with City, they had Henderson, Van Dijk, Salah, all different type of players, different kind of personalities, but they really sort of led the team. So I don't really care who has the armband. I don't think it makes a difference, to be honest with you. And I think he does try and set the tone, right? His work rate, etc., etc. It's not that he's swanning around the pitch like like he doesn't care and doesn't need to try. Then I'd have a real problem. The effort's there. What he is he's struggled really in the last 12, 18 months, right? No question
Yeah.
about it. I think partly because he was rushed back from injury last year, but I think this year he showed some good signs sort of around Christmas time. Then it fell off a cliff. But I definitely don't think he was bad against Brentford. I really genuinely don't. I thought we looked much better with him there. I thought he had some really bright touches. What he did do was really struggle after the goal. And I think that was because if you saw, he went down with that knee injury. He seemed to be in a lot of pain in that knee. And I just don't think he was in quite the state to continue. And I think we were talking earlier about players taking responsibility as well as a manager. This is one I think where, for me, he didn't look right 3 or 4 minutes after that knee injury. What he should
Yeah.
have had was he didn't want to do it because he subbed him on and he didn't want to sub him off. But you're subbing off for
Mm.
injury. It's not you're subbing off because he's playing badly. And Gabriel Jesus comes on and we go two up top. And that's a change I think he should have made. I was sort of saying at the time he's struggling, but I thought he played quite well up to that point. To be honest with you, I just don't agree that he had a bad game in this one. I think he's had a lot of bad games recently, but in this one, not for me. I really genuinely do not think he played badly.
Do you think he would have done better defending against that goal, though?
He definitely should have done. As I was saying, there is no way
Mm.
Martin Odegaard should have been the man at that back post because
At
he
that
is.
back line, exactly.
Yeah, he's the wrong
Uh,
player. That is basically look. I mean, obviously, completely different level. I mean, I'm a 5 foot centre half, but I win a lot in the air. But that's like, but I can't score. Although ironically, I scored on Friday night. But I am crap in front of goal. That's a bit like going, let's have a last chance and let's give Dom the opportunity to score. I'm the wrong person for that. Give it to anybody else. It's not me. And it's the same here with Martin Odegaard. Martin Odegaard should not be the man in that position there. he is not the right player. Literally any other Arsenal player on the pitch but Martin Odegaard in that position. But if you want someone to receive the ball and make take a touch and then play a delicate little intricate pass, that's where you want Martin Odegaard. So Arsenal should have done better there, but Martin Odegaard was put in a position to fail by being in that position. That should have been Gabriel or Rice or Saliba or, the left back or just anyone,
Yeah.
but not him. He was the wrong
Nah.
player there. So, and that's where Arsenal let themselves down there, because if that's a different player, that's probably a different outcome, and he shouldn't have been there.
Yeah, definitely. But again, do you want to see Odegaard start any more games right now, or do you think mentally it's time to say, hey, you know what? Yeah, you're a bit pop player now. Let's allow someone like maybe Eze come in. But again, is Eze even in the right mental state to even start games now? Really, is that where we are right now as a team? In that
Again,
number 10 slot?
I think it's, yeah. Sorry, I've just realised that Tom's going to the game tomorrow with me as well. So I was just checking out where he was sitting. He's sitting on the other side to me. But what's going to say? Yeah, I think it's a horses for courses again, isn't it? Really. So I think there are games when Martin Odegaard absolutely should start games. If you've got a slightly less physical side, you've got a side that likes to play out from the back. Brighton is a really good example of a game where I want Martin Odegaard to be starting. But it obviously wasn't available. But Brentford, you want, you definitely want Kai Havertz. You're playing Manchester City, you probably want Martin Odegaard. That back line can be got at with a press. So I think again, it's choosing the right team for the right game, and we're in a position where we can do that now. We're not in a position anymore where you're like, well, it's a difficult game. The backups aren't anywhere near the level of the starters, so therefore we play the same game in the same way. So I think, Martin Odegaard in the right game is still a very, very good player. I think he's a player that really is similar to Eze. He needs a goal and a big assist. That will help him massively. And he needs to get himself fit and stay fit, because he's had, 3-4 injuries this season, which is not ideal. Now, look, some of them are just freaks, like the 2 shoulder injuries at the start. You can be as fit as you like. You get the knock to the shoulder and you fall on it, you're done, right? There's nothing anyone can do about that. Sort of a bit like the Mascara one falling on his ankle, or Saliba falling on his ankle, or Hincapié getting smashed into the shoulder. These are ones you can't do. What you can do things about are the ones like we did with Kai Havertz last season, right? We just ran him into the ground and were surprised he got injured. They're the ones you can do. Ben White this season playing 4 in a row, having not really played for a year, like that was, they're the ones you can sort of stop. But so I think there is definitely a role for him in there. What I don't really want to see too much of is Eze in the 10. I still think he is a sort of Trossard-like player on the left wing. If Eze starts on the left wing and you have Calafiori behind him, bombing past him, or even Hincapié, I think that works really, really well, because he'll come inside. If Martinelli starts over on the left, you probably want a midfielder more similar to left back more similar to Miles Lewis-Skelly, that will come in and occupy the central space. So it's about the combinations. But I think Martin Odegaard does have a place. But if he doesn't find his form and he continues to struggle, then I think there was a conversation about, if you get a bid in the summer, do you take it? Or if you're struggling with contract talks to get a deal, like Martin Odegaard shouldn't be the best paid player at Arsenal. I know he's not at the moment, but if he's sort of saying, I want 300 grand a week, well, there's probably a conversation we had going, I don't think you're worth 300 grand a week, so we're going to sell you and we'll try and find someone else. So, but I do think he will have a big part, and we'll need to have a big part between now and the end of the season if we are to be successful.
Yeah, definitely. See, Dom, look at this. Yeah, big ups to Dom, to Drew Gunners, our guy. Yeah. Drew says, we missed Havertz against Brentford. His injury is a massive setback. Talk to us how, to what extent did injuries, how injuries was a contributory factor down there against Brentford, when we needed the muscle and the guile of Saliba is nowhere to be found. When we needed the aerial ability of Kai Havertz, who could be able to keep the ball down just a little bit and hold up play up the pitch. I mean, we couldn't get that because the ball was always bouncing up and down. It was always going up. Nothing was laced on the ground for us. It was pretty much hard for a player like Victor Gyökeres to actually just keep the ball because it was always bouncing off his head. You know, it had to do with aerial ability also. We all know that Victor Gyökeres' aerial ability can't really be counted on, you know, most of the time. You know, whenever the ball hit his head, it was always going to the opposition player, always going to somewhere a little bit kind of like far away from the intended target. So sometimes when you look at these factors, yeah, you just have to look at Kai Havertz and say, how, to what extent did we miss him?
I think,
Saliba.
look, there's several things there, right? I mean, I don't think we missed Saliba actually so much yesterday, maybe for a little bit of defensive organisation, but I thought Mosquera came in and did, I said yesterday, it was 3 days ago, 2 days ago now, but Mosquera, I thought came in and did a really, really good job, to be fair. You know,
Mm,
one moment of excellence from him at the back. What a gem we got there. I think, you know, before I sort of go on to Havertz a little bit, you know, I think when I look at this season, our injury numbers are quite high, but as I say, a lot of them being contact injuries. Our muscle injuries are about average in the league. There haven't been an abnormal amount of them, and I think the squad.
mm,
What we learned from last season was we've had a bigger squad than we've ever had before, or any side has really had before. You know, Manchester City's title-winning sides weren't, in terms of numbers and quality
yeah.
wise, is probably of similar thing, but they weren't at the number. You know, this is a
Mm,
24-man squad of quality. You look at City's big title winning sides, they were 20-man squads of quality. I think it's shown that the physical toll now is getting more, and therefore the injury levels are coming up, and you have to have that squad there. And you know, last season I felt we just weren't in a position to deal with it because we had such a level of injuries, which was higher than this season, and in such quantities. It's a bit like Spurs this season, you know, down to 12, 13 players at times. And that's, you know, that's why I felt it was a big, if not, it wasn't the only factor, but a big factor in last season, you know, and
mm,
City was struggling similarly. And both sides have built increased the numbers in their squads because they've learned that lesson from last season. And I think it's a lesson that all sides have learned because, you know, sort of similar sort of the mid 2000s when there was a realization that squads weren't big enough anymore because football was getting more physical, more competitive,
yeah.
and making much more of a toll. I think we got to that point again last season, and that was a big point. This game, though, I don't think you can sort of use injuries as an excuse because, you know, you, as I said, you can't use it 2 years running. You know, we've seen sides in the past. Klopp in his penultimate season had it and finished sixth, seventh, I think. You know, Pep Guardiola struggled last season. You can have them as one-off seasons, but you can't have them continually. And I don't think it's been a significant factor this season because we've been able to cope with it. And actually, Mikel Arteta should be praised for that. What I do think in this game was we only had what, 4 players out for this game. Saliba was unwell. Havertz, Moreno, and Dalman were the 4 out, I think. The problem was you missed
Yeah.
2 players. It was very similar in Moreno and Havertz, and we didn't have a third player that can do that. And that's where the injuries to who we had did have an
Mm,
impact. You have to try and find a way, and we couldn't find a way on this occasion. But we have in other games this season, as you alluded to earlier, found a way. We couldn't this time. But you know, as I said right at the top, I just felt that Havertz was a big miss because his ability to hold up and link up the play means Gyökeres is further forward. Gyökeres
mm,
had to be the physical hold up play man, and he can do
true.
it to an extent, but nowhere near the level of Havertz or Jesus.
Mm,
It's not his natural game. His natural game is to be the man running in behind, and
yeah.
there is a drop off. So you know, Havertz gives you as 8, 9 out of 10. You know, in terms of that ability to link play and be physical and hold up the ball. Gyökeres is more your 6, 7 out of 10, and that is a big drop
Yeah.
off, particularly against a game like Brentford. You have to have an 8, 9 out of 10 because it was that
Mm,
type of game. And you're exactly right. The consequence was it was flicking off. I felt he gave it his all. He tried everything to try and be Havertz and try and link that play because it's what we needed. But as you say, he's not that player, and that's why we miss Kai Havertz. You know, and I think he the flack Havertz has had since he got here is absolutely overblown. I don't understand why we're not getting behind a player because he is our player. Absolutely, though, it is true that he's not clinical enough to be your number 9, and that's why we were right to go and bring in Gyökeres. But you know, at the same time, I just think, come on, get behind him. And this idea that he can't play football at all, I think he's showing is just for the birds. But like all players, there is always downsides with a game, and his downside is, of course, you're going to need to give him 3 chances if you want a goal because he's that type of player.
Mm,
He's not a 1-2 chance man. He's a 3 chance man.
yeah, yeah, definitely. So, see, I don't want to be the guy. Yeah, I mean, yeah,
But
don't.
you're going to be.
I'm gonna be. Yeah, I mean, I'm going. Even before I get there, I don't want to be the guy. Yeah, to go against the numb. Yeah, I don't want to be the guy that would, be the mouthpiece in the room. But again, we have to talk about it. Bukayo Saka. I mean, dumb. Yeah, I don't want it to be like a black on black crime or something like that. Yeah, I mean, come on, man. I believe we can be peaceful together. Yeah, how about that? But I mean, we have to talk about this, man. Saka coming on for Madueke, who was poor. I mean, to a degree. I mean, take away the goal. It was crap in that game, bro. Yeah. That, now taking him away and bringing in Saka, who I thought that at least should even add a little bit of an outlet into that game to hold the ball because we didn't just need runners in that game, tireless runners. Yeah, we also needed an outlet through which the ball could be held, possess the ball, keep the ball. Yeah, keep it away from Brentford players, keep it away from the midfielders, keep it away mostly from Thiago. I mean, Thiago was creating. It was in the midfield. He was creating. It was also, I mean, very fast in transition, mind you. It was a
He had a
transitional
very good
game.
game.
So, I mean, it's crazy how much creativity is in this striker, bruv. Thiago was creating as well as being the guy to actually try to find the means to get the goal. So, I mean, it is what it is. But we needed outlets to kind of like just hold on to the ball. Madueke wasn't doing that properly. He scored. I mean, he scored a good header. I completely give that to him. But I mean, his gameplay was totally crap, bro. Yeah. He tried to take on his players, but it was figured out after some couple of minutes in that game. Because Saka came on, dreadful play. I can't really remember any meaningful injection in that game that Bukayo Saka gets. I, I'm very sorry. I'm really hitting Bukayo Saka hard like this, bro. It's not meant to be like this. But again, when you look at Saka, that's our talisman. That's a talisman. That's a guy we just gave a new contract to be earning 350k pounds every week, Dom. Come on, man. Come on, man. There's no how we can hide this no more. He's on 350. And I mean and those wages rake up to with some couple of bonuses, rakes up to 400k in a week, my bro. Totally shambolic performance from Saka when he came on. Can't have him time to touch the ball.
Yeah, look, you're exactly right. In this game, Madueke, was poor. He had Nico Henry had a very good game against him, and Madueke couldn't adapt. Madueke,
Mm.
I think Madueke's been relatively decent this season, given his sort of status in the squad. He's definitely got to improve his end product. That final ball, is definitely got to improve. But I would back him to sort of do that. And as you say, he is on 300 grand a week, Bukayo Saka, and he's going to have to deliver that. He's definitely delivered before. There is some truth to the element that he's been overplayed, and that's maybe causing him an issue now, sort of similar to, he's not at the point where Raheem Sterling totally fallen off a cliff, but sort of similar to Sterling, where he sort of ended up having to change and adapt his game as a result. But equally, I don't think Arsenal would be where they would be had he not played consistently through that period, because he was just so much better than everybody else.
Yeah.
Equally, I think some of Saka statistically this season, his goals and assists, I think, would have been better. I think he's had 3 assists now ruled out because they've been own goals. And he's also had a few where he's been the pass before the assist, which again,
Mm.
in previous seasons, he might well have been the man where he would have put that ball in. So statistically, I think he's definitely down. He's probably not quite down as much as it looks, but he's definitely been poorer this season. This has been his poorest season in an Arsenal shirt without question. And I think
Without
some
a
of it,
doubt.
yeah, I don't think there's any getting away from that. And I think some of it is related to that injury. I think some of it is related to him having to adapt because it's not quite as powerful as he was before.
Mm,
But he definitely needs to improve. Equally, on this game, well, you're absolutely right. I don't think he did anything with the ball. Madueke was average at best. Saka was worse. I also think there has to be an element a little bit when players are just coming back from an injury that you do need to get that match fitness out. Brentford played absolutely exceptionally well. They deserved the
yeah,
draw, and I'm not saying that this is an excuse for Arsenal not winning the game, but we have to also credit Brentford for the way they
yeah,
played. And Nico Henry, I thought I actually, Thiago was obviously Brentford's player of the match, but I thought Nico Henry deserved a lot of credit for the way he played in that game. He really did.
yeah,
Madueke, I mean, he won't get it, obviously, Henry, because he loses Madueke for the goal. But, Henry, I thought, did play very, very well. And, Madueke showed perseverance, but you're right, it wasn't happening. But let's see where Saka is come the end of the season. Because
yeah,
I'm nowhere near ready to give up on him, but he will certainly need to improve. But I actually think he should get meaningful minutes tomorrow against Wigan. I mean, we haven't got on to Wigan yet, but I would almost be in a position if he's fit enough to start Saka and get him 60, 65 minutes in that game,
yeah.
because I think it's minutes he needs. And I think if he can get some minutes and some match fitness up, then I think you won't see that game against Brentford too often. I think that was
Yeah,
rough
too
for me.
rusty. Yeah,
But
yeah.
your point
I
on the
mean,
season is absolutely
I
valid.
agree with you 100%. Because he looked rusty, like someone who was just coming back from. I mean, I mean, like a vampire in the 1980s, just come up to the TikTok revolution, and he's like, "Where am I?
Yeah, exactly. But
Where
your
am I?"
point on your point on the season is valid, though, Tony. It is absolutely spot on that this season has definitely been his poorest, and I think it is related somewhat to that injury. But equally, as I say, I just think if you're not playing the players to the extent we did, then I'm not sure we get where we are now, because I don't think we would have been good enough without him playing constantly to have achieved. We've not achieved anything because, of course, we haven't won anything, but we wouldn't be in a position we are to win things now had he not played as often. But the consequence of that is, of course, that he's not as inspired as he was in previous seasons.
Dumb, controversially, if you were the manager of Arsenal Football Club right now, with what is happening in that right hand side, yeah, to Madueke, um, brilliant flashes, no end product because Saka completely banged up, can't play again. Um, would you be eyeing a move for a right sided winger in the summer?
No,
I'm just
no.
saying this.
No, I wouldn't. Again, I think Bukayo Saka is still an absolute top level player. He is having a difficult moment, but I think he's a top level player. Equally, I think with Madueke, you are going to see what we're seeing, which is a player that will be a little bit of a moment's player. But equally,
Mm,
I have seen him improve work rate defensively on where he was last season. I've seen him, against Chelsea, I thought he was outstanding, by the way. No one will remember the game because we didn't have to come out and attack. But he put in a real shift defensively. He held the ball up well. He took on his players. He went looking for the corners to buy us time. And actually, Kukurea really, really struggled with him all game long. I think had we been more attacking in that game and got players closer to him, he could have done some damage. So I think he is an improving player. I think he needs to improve his end product and his shooting. But we've seen Mikel Arteta's players improve. Quite a lot of the players improve. We've seen Kai
yeah.
Havertz improve. We've seen other players improve once they've had a season or so under Mikel Arteta. So I think next season he will be better than this season. I think we have a top Premier League player in Bukayo Saka, who I will back to come back, and I think we have one of, if not the best, one of, not the best certainly, but one of the best right wing backups in the league. And you've got a player that understands that he is going to be the backup to Saka, but will push Saka because he wants to be the starter. He wants to be playing for England, and that's what you want. You want
Mm.
players that understand their position in the squad, but can compete and go. Do you know what? If he falls off, you want to put me in. So I think we've got that side right. I think if I'm looking at things this season, you're looking at a Jesus replacement. I think you're looking at an upgrade on the left wing, and you're looking at a little bit more depth in midfield. They're the priorities for me. Obviously, if you get the dreaded market opportunity, where I don't know, let's say you get in a top left winger. Let's say what's his name, the Georgian guy whose name I can never pronounce at Paris Saint-Germain. Let's say he comes. Yeah, let's say he comes in and then Rodrigo goes, I fancy coming in to be your right midfielder. Then you're probably going, oh, there's a bit of a market for Madueke. We might take a loss. And, suddenly you've got those two coming in. You're going, yeah, okay. But I think that's unlikely. If Rodrigo comes in, he's going to want to be the start on the left wing, which is his better side. But I'm just using it as a hypothetical. Then you might be looking to make a change. But no, I wouldn't be touching that right wing. I really wouldn't.
Dom, Arsenal, of course, on the show, we also keep an eye on the transfer window. Arsenal, brother, I don't know where this report is coming from, but reports are flying everywhere that Arsenal is in the run-in to bring in Scott McTominay from Napoli, where Napoli will be demanding 100 million euros for that transfer. Even dumb. People. I mean,
I'm just checking my watch, Tony, because I was just
kind of silent treatment.
I was just checking my watch to make sure it wasn't April the 1st. Look, Scott McTominay has done a really, really, really top job at Napoli. He has been exceptional. He has gone to new levels there. We've seen his quality for Scotland, right? But I've always felt with him that was because he looks so much better than everyone else because Scotland are a bit crap, right? And at Manchester United, I felt he was a decent but not exceptional player. At Napoli, he has done exceptionally well. And maybe that league really, really suits him in terms of just how he likes to play, etc., etc. But there is absolutely no way on God's green earth I am paying 100 million euros for McTominay. If you're saying 35, exactly. If you're saying he can come in and be
to us.
Yeah, well, I can get it. I think there is a world where you could argue that we need another central midfielder in the summer if someone was to move on. If someone was to move on, I think Moreno's had a good season, and I think Norgard has done exactly what we've asked him to. He's come in, played the minutes when we've asked him to. I think he probably could have played more minutes, has done it to a decent standard, 6, 7 out of 10 every single time he plays. That's kind of what you want from him. You're not going to get more than that from him. If you said, right, Norgard wants to move on, McTominay, you want to come in and be the new Norgard? Absolutely fine, because I think you can move Moreno to 6 and McTominay to 8. But I'm paying 35, 40. You're probably not getting him for that because of how well he's played in Italy. But I just think the style in Italy seems to suit him. And, I wouldn't be taking him. There's way better options
but again,
out there.
Tom, knowing our history, with all these players that we've been getting from our rival teams, I mean, they've all been flops. They've all not been doing well. So, do you think?
Well, Napoli aren't a rival team for one, but equally, he
played for Manchester United. He still plays for Manchester United.
But who's come in and been a flop though? I mean, I don't think they've all been a flop.
Willian has come in.
Oh, Willian, of course, yeah.
I mean, in this team, Madueke isn't really firing on all cylinders.
No, I don't.
I mean, let's not even get to that. We know, we've seen these things. Gallas, I mean, from our rivals, Chelsea, from our rivals, Tottenham, came down to Arsenal.
If you want to go back 5 years, you're absolutely right. David Luiz, William Gallas, all of these things.
Clowns.
Absolutely right.
Clowns. Yeah.
But equally, I think if you look at the last 2-3 years, I just don't think that's true. I think Arsenal are a very different side now to where they were. And I think if you look at the last 2 or 3 years, there have been very few misses given their purpose and role in the squad. A lot of people say Jorginho was a flop. I don't think so. He came in to be a squad player, and I thought he did.
That was the only slightly different one out of the bunch, innit?
Wait, who, sorry?
I said that was the only one that was a little bit, that was a glitch in the matrix, innit?
But I don't think that's true. I think Havertz has come in and done well. I think Madueke is doing what we would ask him to do. There's areas for him to improve, but I don't think he's been a flop by any stretch. I just don't think it's true that every single player we sign from the rivals anymore is a flop. It is true. There is a genuine anti-bias. We've seen, I find it genuinely baffling that there was a petition to stop Madueke coming in the summer. The Havertz hate is overdone, right? They're Arsenal players now, and I do not think they've been flopped. It's not. I'm not saying they're world class superstars by any means, but they've certainly not been flopped. Kai Havertz averages a goal every other game as a number 9. That is not bad in the Premier League, and I don't think it's. I don't think he's the most clinical. I think he offers more than that. As your number 9, you want him to be scoring goals, and ultimately that's what he's judged by. But I don't think he's been a flop. I think he's not overpriced in a transfer. I think his wages are overinflated, but then I think everyone's wages are overinflated because I think it's ridiculous the level of money that footballers are paid. But I just don't think I genuinely don't think it's true that these players coming in, a flop. Raheem Sterling obviously was. I understood that.
That's another flop.
That one is.
Let's don't even get into it. Man could even hardly touch the ball for Arsenal, and now he shipped himself down to Feyenoord. So I mean, it is what it is. I don't want any of all these players that have actually done the shirt of any of our rivals. I mean, I don't want it. It's better we just go to South America and just go get some talent from there, bro. I'm done with all this. Yeah. See, couple of days ago, the manager of one of our fiercest rivals, Tottenham Hotspur, was sacked. Thomas Frank. How are you feeling about that? Do you feel it's a bit okay? Yeah, Tottenham are enemies. I don't like you. You don't like me. Come on, man. It's good that it's a team in disarray. I mean, you're gonna like it any which way. Dom. I mean, it's something that calls for laughs, for giggles, for excitement. Seeing your rivals in disarray and seeing your enemies in trouble and pandemonium. But the thing there is, are you scared about a manager bounce against Arsenal, because they are the team we face next after Wolves?
It's their next game, right? I mean,
this week.
I mean, I'm really, really, really concerned that we've got a mole because our agent at Tottenham got burnt. He got exposed as being undercover. I mean, let's be honest about Thomas Frank at Tottenham, right? I do not think Thomas Frank is a bad manager at all. He obviously has failed at Tottenham. And here's why I think he failed at Tottenham. Tottenham went from Jose Mourinho Conte to Ange Ball, completely different, and then went, oh, no, that's not working. Let's go back near Conte Mourinho style. Players are all over the place. I don't think they gave him. I think from the moment he walked in, the fans and players didn't want to give him an opportunity. And a lot of media people have likened it to this, but myself and a guy called Sparks on Footy Corner were talking about this weeks and weeks before Frank was sacked. We were likening it to Potter at Chelsea, Moyes at Manchester United, and there are other examples of it where he came in, he had a plan, and no one bought into the plan. And the plan was what he was hired on. So you can't fault him. That's what he would have presented to the board when he would have interviewed for the job. And I think, given time, Thomas Frank could have done. I don't think he would have gotten to a title, but I think he would have stabilised them and got them up towards the 4th, 5th consistently in the title. Then it's probably time to make the change, right? So I don't think he's a bad manager, but it went horrifically wrong. The players just didn't buy in. The fans didn't buy in. He got horrifically unlucky with injuries, by the way, which is Tottenham's second season running. So I would be more concerned about them from that point of view than I would be us about what the hell's going on there. All of these things, it was a perfect storm of things going wrong. I think it probably is the right decision. Not probably. It is undoubtedly the right decision from a Tottenham point of view to sack him. You've now got a 12-day break or whatever it is before you play Arsenal. You get the excitement and enthusiasm back in the stadium because they were so anti-Frank that it will be a more positive atmosphere. And it's probably going to be the decision that saves them from relegation, because I think Frank would have taken them down. But that doesn't mean he's a bad manager. He's just a bit like Emery at Arsenal. Wrong manager, wrong time, maybe. Just didn't sort of fit in there. But Emery, and I'm not saying Frank's as good as Emery, by the way, but, you can see the quality of Emery. And I think Frank, if given another job opportunity, another club, say Crystal Palace, for instance, it's probably the wrong club because I think they're on a downward trajectory because all their best players are going. But if he went into, let's say, Brighton sat their manager and he went into Brighton, I think he'd show what a good manager he is. He's just probably not a top level manager.
Yeah.
From an Arsenal
But there's
perspective,
still
though,
question marks. I'll get to the question marks. But Pito has given us $2. Big up to Pito. Another $2 from you. He says Tottenham is a W. They're getting relegated. Bro, we still have to talk about that, bro. Big up to Pito. See, Dom, yeah. Manchester United. These are the parameters I'm looking at. Manchester United last season went into a final in the Europa League with Tottenham Hotspurs. Tottenham Hotspurs beat them for that title. Tottenham won an European Championship last season.
Yep.
You can't be telling me that that team isn't supposed to be mid-table side this season.
Oh,
That's a
undoubtedly.
big drop off. Don't come in. That's a big drop off from being Europa League winners down to 6 points, hovering around relegation waters. Yeah, throw that all away. Look at the people they beat in the European competition that they won last season, not 2 seasons ago, not 3 seasons ago. Last season, Dom, bro, it's not even up to a calendar year, my bro. Yeah, last season. Yeah, and Manchester United. I mean, people are even saying that Manchester United are even going for the trophy. I mean, come on, man. I've heard so many things. People are saying that Man United could easily win 3 games. Tap, tap, boom. They could just take over from Aston Villa. And if we're looking at Aston Villa as people that are looking to challenge, and if Man United gazump them, they are also challenges. So if Tottenham Hotspurs is hovering 6 points away from relegation waters, how come are we putting Thomas Frank on that pedestal? I mean, I can't really believe it that many Arsenal fans, were looking at ditching Mikel Arteta to bring in Thomas Frank.
Well, I mean, that was ridiculous. That was ridiculous, right? I mean, I find that baffling. Like, Thomas Frank, I think, is a good manager, right? But he's a manager for a mid-table to Europa League level side. Tottenham, though, let's not forget, did finish 17th last season in the league. So I think they are a mid-table side. And I think the fact that they and Manchester United got to the final of the Europa League shows how weak that competition is now. Now that the Champions League sides don't come down anymore. And also how strong competitively, and I think it's mostly financial muscle they are compared to the rest of Europe. And, I think it goes back to my point earlier about how if you've got sides, look, Tottenham are having a horrific season, but they are still capable of beating sides and getting good results against sides. And they are, 16th right now in the league?
Yeah.
Leeds, not a brilliant side, still capable of beating sides, and they're 15th. The league depth goes a long way down, right, in the league. Even West Ham, they're 18th, and I still think there are players in there that can hurt you. Somerville now scoring goals. Jared Bowen, the new striker they brought in, they suddenly, I'm not saying that Arsenal should be losing to these sides, but you can see the depth down in the league, and that's why I just don't think any team is going on a winning run, and that includes Tottenham. But I think Thomas Frank was too much of a swing from what they had for Ange before. It's like Nottingham Forest this season. I mean, they're a walking disaster zone. What the hell they're doing sacking Sean Dyche, I don't know. But 3 managers, they've gone from Nuno, who is pragmatic, 10 men behind the ball, and being very simplistic here. That's unfair on Nuno, to Ange Gong Ho, we're putting 10 men forward and don't bother about defending, boys. Back to Sean Dyche, 10 men behind the ball. I am being simplistic deliberately to make my point, and I think that's harmed Tottenham. Equally, I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not complaining that it harmed Tottenham at all, but equally, I just don't think he was set up to fail by Spurs because no one ever bought in, and therefore. They should have known that the players weren't going to buy into that and the fans weren't going to buy into that before they hired him. But, I am worried, though, about playing Tottenham next weekend because that atmosphere in that stadium is going to be far more positive. The players will have had 12 days. Igor Tugal, by the way, has not won in the last 10 games. You can just sort of see the stars aligning of Tottenham are crap. Tottenham have played poorly. Tottenham are terrible. Tottenham got no one fit. They got all their best players out. They got a manager who've just come in who hasn't won in 10 games, and it's just got 1-0 to Spurs written all over it. Yeah, that's what I fear, right?
And that's a home
We
game.
should beat
The
Spurs. We are
crazy
way
thing,
better
that's
than
a
them.
home game. That's a home game for Tottenham.
Yeah. Who've won twice at White Hart Lane in the league all season. Yeah, we should beat them. We are better than them. But it's a derby. I hate Derby Day. Absolutely hate it.
But again, you can't eliminate the manager bounce theory too, though. I mean, look at Man United.
No,
yeah,
this is what I'm saying, right?
Look at what Carrick has done. I mean, bro, call it a
all
manager
he's done is
bounce,
put the
call
players
it
in the right
whatever you
place.
want. He nearly won 5 games. I mean, I'm not talking about that guy, that Man United fan, yeah, to cut his hair, yeah, after the fight, after the 5th game. I know you heard about that Man United fan who, was supposed to cut his hair after the 5th game, But again, bro, I mean, manager bounce from Carrick, yeah, taking them to almost 5 games, and even the 5th game, he didn't lose. That was a draw. So, I mean, if we're looking at Tottenham, and if the manager has come into the football club to rally the troops round, in lieu of getting the job at the end of the season, I mean, you know what he's going to be telling them, yeah? Arsenal is a big, big, big statement. Give me all you got, and I mean,
really easy team talk, isn't it?
That's a scary one. Yeah, that's a scary one.
It is. I mean, if you said this game's going to be played on paper, Arsenal win it 11 times out of 10.
Definitely.
And don't get me wrong, I don't see Tudor being given the job. But all Michael Carrick did at Manchester United, let's be honest, he made the players feel better about themselves. He made the fans feel better about themselves. And then he put the players, and bear with me here, he went, do you know what? We're not really set up for a five at the back system. Why don't we go for, 4 at the back? Let's try that, because that suits our players. And, that's all he did. And by the way, that's easier said than done, right? You saw Mikel Arteta have to come in at Arsenal and change their culture and attitude. And I don't think the cultural attitude has fully changed at Manchester United. They're just in a good moment at the moment. And they're helped by the fact they play once a week because they've got just the Premier League. But you also can't deny that Michael Carrick has done a good job there. I think probably Villa going out today probably means Villa now, I gave a hot take in the week that Villa might drop out. And if they kept going deep in the competitions, I could see them falling off. And I still can see them falling off towards the end of the season, but no one is consistent below. But I think if I was going to put my money, and Gary Neville said this the other day, he said, if I was putting my money on one side to get in the Champions League right now, it would be United, because they just got that. They've got nothing else. They can prepare for every game. Equally, Manchester United aren't a brilliant side. And in 3-4 weeks' time, they could go and lose 2-3 on the bounce and suddenly find themselves in 8th or 9th, because they're not a good side and not a consistent side. But I think that's true of Chelsea. I think it's true of Liverpool. It's true of so many sides up there, which is why I would put my money on United, just because that's all they got.
Yeah, definitely. Dom, we have Wigan. People, I'll be doing a watch along for that one. It should clearly be a routine win, definitely. I mean, Wigan, horrible form, in the league there. And apart from that, they were managerless. I don't know if they brought in a new manager, but
they have new manager bounce.
They brought a new manager.
Twice in the next 3 games, we get a new manager. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Manager bounce, definitely. Our next 3 games, even Wolves have a new manager, people. So I mean, 3 consecutive games with a manager bounce contingent.
Well, I mean, they've had Wolves have had their new manager for a little while, to be fair, but
yeah. But again, we face Wigan tomorrow. Should this be a routine win? Who are the players that should play? Should we be careful of the players we field, because injuries have started to creep into that Arsenal team, one after the other? Kai Havertz out, Saliba out. Who else is out again?
Well, Saliba was ill. So I don't think he's an injury concern. I think it was a sickness bug.
It was just
an illness bug.
Yeah,
he was.
Exactly.
Assuming Arsenal are telling the truth about it, of course, but he was said to be unwell, so I don't think he's a concern from an injury perspective.
Right? Yeah. So, what do you think about that, bro?
Well, I shall be in the North Bank tomorrow, so I am immensely
Oh, okay. Hooray.
looking forward to the
Hooray.
game.
Yeah.
So I mean, you're exactly right. Arsenal should win this one.
Yeah.
Yes, there'll be a feel good factor, I'm sure, around Wigan, but equally, no offense to Wigan, they're not, they shouldn't be able to beat a much changed Arsenal side, particularly away from home. You know,
Mm,
I haven't seen back beyond this, but they've lost 5 of their last 6. They're in the relegation zone in League One. They're away from home. This should be a routine win for Arsenal. What I do think Wigan will do is come out strong. The first 20 minutes, I think everything, they're going to be flying into everything. From that point of view, it's going to be difficult. Arsenal, though, will control the game. Once Arsenal get a goal, and it will happen, then they should, finish the game relatively comfortably. But we saw today with City, right? City still may change today, but still fielded a relatively strong side. 4 or 5 starters still play today for City.
yeah.
And they only just came through against Salford. Salford gave it a real go. City
Yeah.
got a late second goal to kill the game, but up to that point,
Yeah.
Salford were right in it. So you can never rest totally, and you'll need to have a strong bench. But I mean, I'm making multiple changes for this one. I'm trying to remember what I did in my preview side, so this might change, but I think it's going to be something like Kepa in goal,
Mm,
White should be playing, Mosquera, and then Mosquera and
mm,
let me start again. White, Mosquera on the right side, left side, Hincapié and Calafiori. I don't really mind who plays centre back, who plays left back. They can even switch in game if they want, but I think Calafiori needs a minute.
Should Rice be playing?
Well, centre midfield, I don't want to see Rice or Zubimendi. Norgard for me starts, and I'd move Miles Lewis-Skelly into midfield. I don't expect to see it, but I would move him into midfield. I think really what Arteta would have wanted to have done would have been go Eze, Odegaard, double 10 pivot, with
Okay.
Norgard sitting at 6. But I don't want to see Odegaard tomorrow unless he's 100% fit. If he's fit, then I think I play him because I think he needs minutes to recover from injury.
Yeah, to recover.
But he, as I said, I thought he played well up to the point he got that kick to the knee. After that, he was completely ineffectual. But I think he was struggling with pain. There was the difference in him pre-goal and post-goal were huge, and I think it all comes down to that kick he got to the knee. I think you've then got to go Eza in a 10, which is annoying because I wanted him on the left wing. Martinelli left, Jesus up top, and I would bring Saka in for 60, 65 minutes and then
Yeah, Saka should be playing this one to
He
get the
needs a
much
minute.
needed match fitness. Yeah.
If Saka hadn't been injured and had been playing the last 2 or 3 games, then of course Saka doesn't play in this one. But I think he needs a minutes. Just like, as I say, if there is no ill effects at all of that knee injury, then I'd play Odegaard in this one. I would. And I'd probably bring Miles Lewis-Skelly in at left back and bring Hincapié out. But for me, Miles Lewis-Skelly needs 90 minutes. And if there's any doubts
Yeah.
about any player, Trossard for me, he give him a rest. Gyökeres, you can come off the bench, mate, if you want to. Jesus starts this one. Rice, Zubimendi, don't want to see you. Gabriel, don't want to see you. Timber, don't want to see you. But interesting though, Max Dowman back in training, so I'd like to see him.
That was actually my next question.
I think he should be on the bench, right? Because he's just come back.
Dom.
Sorry,
I'm
man.
kill you. I'm gonna kill you, Dom. You took it away from me. Yeah,
But
Dom,
he's an option. He should certainly be involved tomorrow. If he's assuming he's fit enough to be involved, I don't know how long
he's
he's been
back in training. He's back in training.
What I don't know is, has he done 1 session or has he done 10 sessions? How ready is he? We don't know.
Yeah. But again, Max Doman coming in just in this title run in, like how much of a boost would that be for Arsenal to just have, a running man, a technically gifted young player, 16-year-old that can take on giant, 6 foot plus giants and take them out for a spin on the wings. Doman is someone that would be very, very, very beneficial to us in the second half of the season, isn't it?
I think so. I think it's part of the reason, right? Max Downing is part of the reason Ranieri was allowed to go out on loan, right? Which is, Ranieri was probably on for 1,000 minutes this season, probably about the right level for a player of his age. But I think they thought, do you know what? He's probably going to get 400 or 500 minutes in the second half of the season. Max Dowman can have those 400 or 500 minutes. Very similar players, able to play in the same positions. Even if Dowman gets 300 minutes, that's really big for him. So, I think it's a big boost for Arsenal. It's another option. It's an
Can he play
exciting
in the
option.
10? Can he play in the 10? Would you like to see Max
Ah,
Doman in the 10?
I'd worry about a 15, 16-year-old in the 16 now, isn't he?
Yeah.
In the number 10. I'd rather probably see him out wide right. But but do you know what? If you're 2-3-0 up in a game, yeah, why not? But
Why
I think
not?
if you're bringing him on to try and win the game because it's 1-0, you're 1-1, you're 1-0 down, I'd rather see him out on the right. Where he's got a little bit more space, it's a little less of a physical battle there because he is a
Mm,
16-year-old kid. And I'm not
yeah.
saying that he's weak. Well, he is weak, but I'm not saying he's weak. He's obviously very strong for his age, but he's 16. His body's still developing, and that centre of the park is really physical. So I'd probably rather see him wide.
Yeah, definitely. Dom, final one. See, Dom, yeah. After that drop point against Brentford, of course, CE pummeling Fulham with three goals. Yeah,
They always smash for them, don't they?
they always smash Fulham. It's very painful, isn't it? Um, Dom, sincerely, are you worried? Are you shaking in your boots? Are you quaking in your boots? Are you hiding in the caves? Are you
Uh,
are you panicking? I
no,
mean, the word that has been used so much in this YouTube space is that Arsenal fans and Arsenal players and the manager are panicking. Bro, are you in panic right now? No, seriously. And again, there's no shame being in panic, bro. Uh, Do you think we're a team in crisis, a team in panic right now?
nope, no, not at all. Honestly, I really don't. I am really genuinely relaxed about things. Look, obviously, you'd rather have won that game against Brentford and be 6 points clear than 4 points clear. Equally, I just genuinely think this is part and parcel of it. Everyone said we were in crisis when we lost to Manchester United. Well, we won, was it next 4 or 5 games?
Yeah, when the next four
I
games.
yeah, man, I look at City and go, they're still vulnerable. As I say, Salford got at them a bit today. You know, they beat Liverpool, but Liverpool should have beaten them. There are vulnerabilities there. I don't see any team going between now and the end of the season on big unbeaten or winning runs between now and the end of the season. I think the mentality is strong. I think the quality is strong. I think we're still a really hard side to beat. I still think we're going to win the league. I just think this is inevitable that there's going to be dips and troughs. We've gone from 6 to 3 to 7, back to 6, down to 4. It's perfectly normal. I think what's really important though is that if we can win the next 2 games, I think
Yeah,
City do play before us against Tottenham. But if we come out of the Tottenham game and you're 7 points clear, well, you're down to 11 games for City, 10 for us at that point.
mm,
It's a cricket term, but it's a bit of scoreboard pressure. And again, if Manchester City go between now and the end of the season, they win every game. Do you know what? You're worthy champions, guys. Like genuinely. Even then, they still
yeah,
need Arsenal to slip up. But I think if they do that, I don't see Arsenal winning the league. But I really don't see City winning 12 in a row. I just don't. And that's why I'm really not too worried. Genuinely think there's at least one, if not 2 trophies in there. I do think what could cause me to worry would be, and I know this is over a month away, if we lost that League Cup final, then I
yeah.
would be nervous
What
because I
it
think,
does to us mentally. Mm,
yes, both as a fan base and the players. Right now, there's a section of the fan base nervous, and I think there's 2 reasons for nervousness. I think there are those that are nervous because it's happened too many times recently, but I think there's a difference between this side and the one 2 years, 3 years ago. In both those seasons, I didn't think Arsenal winning the league. I was very clear on that all season. I didn't think we had
Although
the
Arteta
quality,
has
the
never
depth, or the
lost a
experience.
final, though. Mm.
No, he hasn't. But he's also not played massive amounts. But I think it's 5, is it? So it's not
Yeah,
insignificant.
Dom, you have to get that in there, innit?
Yeah.
I mean,
But
you have to get that in there, bro.
yeah. But look, I mean, I do think that side 2, 3 years ago, it lacked experience, it lacked the depth, and that City side was much better. This year, I think the
Yeah.
experience is there. Obviously, not of winning things collectively, that's still missing. But there's a lot of experience, a lot of leaders, a lot of depth in that squad, and I don't think City are the same. And I think there's a big difference there. There are then those people that, if I'm honest with you, in our fan base, some of them want to lose. so they can lose the manager. I don't understand that, and they will deny that, and that's fine. But it's my honest belief that there are those that would rather lose the league this season to lose the manager. I want to win the league. I don't care that it's for
Yeah.
Arteta. I think it would be a little bit of a two fingers up for those that doubted him. But that's not why I want to win the league. I want to win the league because I'm an Arsenal fan, and I think this squad is good enough to win the league. And I do think we're going to win the league. I could be wrong, of course, but that is my view that we will win this league this season. I really do think that.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks, Tom, for that. For that answer. Because see, yeah, right now I'm a Teta out, but I won't allow it echo. And like I've told you, there are reasons to why I feel Arteta should be replaced. Because I think we can get managers that can actually, get us to the end of the line, which has been a big problem to the manager. A lot has been invested in the manager. Lots of years have been given to him, and he hasn't won the big one. So it's not out of hate. It's more out of like, hey, you've tried, given the person the chance to try and take us to the promised land. However, I do think if he wins the titles this season, I think he stays. If he wins the Champions League, I want him to stay. Build him a statue because no other manager has gotten us the Champions League. If he wins the Premier League, keep him there. So I'm a little bit more pragmatic with that approach, because it's more of like, hey, I want to win trophies. So if there's better opportunities of a manager like an Ant Flick and Ancelotti who could come in and help us win a title, I'm not gonna say no to that proposition. But neither would I be the person that would just say Arteta out just because I want the club to be in disarray and in pandemonium. That's it.
Yeah, so I kind of take the similar but the opposite way around of looking at that. I think if he does, I said last season he had to win trophies or his position had to be under review. I did change my view on that, and I'm very clear on why I changed my view on that, which was that was
Mm,
an unusual season in terms of injuries. I don't think Forest were ever the sixth, seventh best side in the league, but they were one of the least, bless you, one of the least injured sides in the league. Liverpool the
thank you.
same. Almost everyone else got injuries to unprecedented levels. And I think, and I'm doing this from memory, I think last season was the most injuries in a league season in their Premier League history. And
Mm,
Arsenal and Manchester City were amongst the most affected by that. Brighton and Spurs were, I think, the first two. We might have been second. And that's why I thought you're in a position where you can't manage that, and better managers than Arteta have
yeah,
fared worse, ironically. But this season, as I say, you can't use that 2 years running, which is why I'd be more concerned about Tottenham. For me, I'm not concerned. I'm an Arsenal fan. I don't care. But Tottenham should be more concerned than we should because if you take out our freak injuries this season, it's been much lower than last season. Tottenham's on the same level, but I think he has to win something here. If he doesn't, then it's got to be time to go. Thanks very much. And I also think there's a really promising manager market this summer, and therefore
mm,
there are lots of good options out there to replace him. I think those asking for him to go now, you can't sack a manager right now when you're through in the Champions League, you're in a League Cup final, you're still in the FA Cup, and you're top of the league. Equally, who are you getting right now? But I think that calculation can change in the summer if you're still unsuccessful, and I think that will
yeah.
add pressure on him. But I also think that you're right to point out the money. Although I think that's what it costs to build a Premier League winning squad these days, and it's probably not.
Yeah.
It's not out of kilter with say Alex Ferguson or Jose Mourinho when you count football inflation, not real inflation, but football inflation is
But
way
it's in the
above inflation.
billions, though. It's in the billions, though.
Yeah,
It's in the
yeah,
billions,
exactly. No,
though.
it's not. It's not. It's not. We haven't spent a
Ah,
billion.
come on, man. It's in the
We
billions, bro.
nope. It's not.
It's in the billion. Okay,
Nope.
let me check. It's in the billion.
If you want to
He's
do it in
spent over
euros,
£1 billion
no, he hasn't.
refurbishing this team.
No, he hasn't. 940.
Sure.
Yeah, 900. He's spent over €1 billion, but he hasn't spent over
Over a
£1 billion.
billion euros. Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh, um, uh, uh,
but
dumb,
equally,
dumb, 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 dumb.
hang on, I've got it
You
here. I've
are
got it here.
dumb. You are in the United Kingdom. I am in Europe. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
a
yeah,
bureaucrat in Europe. So we
yeah.
use euros. So
Yeah. So I've got
so he
I've
spent
got it
over
here in
a
euros.
billion euros. Am I
I,
wrong, Dom?
no, on euros you're correct. I've got the numbers here, by the way. So since Arteta came in, Chelsea two. These are all in euros for you. Just 2.1 billion euros. This is pre-Gehi. Manchester City 1.25 billion.
Yeah.
Manchester United 1.2 billion. I've had to round slightly. Tottenham are next, and then Arsenal just spent more than Liverpool by about 50 million euros. So that's your spending. But equally, as I said, I think that's what it costs to build your squad up to this level. But it's now time to deliver. So I think the time was needed, and I think the money was needed. I think one of the big differences between, say, us and Spurs, because Spurs were ahead of us, let's not forget, when Arteta came in, is that we have spent both sensibly, and some players we've outgrown, but that was always going to happen because you buy players in to get you to the next level. But the next level, we were sort of 2 levels away from winning. They've now been replaced, rightly so.
Yeah.
And that also costs money because you're basically buying a player to buy them again because that player's not quite good enough. But you wouldn't have got Declan Rice, for instance, when you were finishing 8th in the league, which is why I believe that you do need phases. But ultimately, we are now in a position where we should be winning. So the time doesn't bother me. The money doesn't bother me to get to this point. But now you put those two together, it has to deliver for something. If it doesn't, well, it's like, thanks very much. You've made us a serious club again. You've got us competing again, but you couldn't get us over the line. But I'm less worried he hasn't got us over the line so far because I think that's a natural consequence of all of that. But he has to. But it's equally, and you're absolutely right to go, he's never done it. So therefore, I'm right to question it because it's a big outstanding question. Can you do that final bit? Only he can answer that this season, and we'll see what he does.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks, Dom, for hanging out with us today. Even if today was, FA Cup galore, FA Cup games galore. So it is what it is. We couldn't.
There's something called Valentine's Day as well, but I mean, as I say to my wife, every day's Valentine's Day when you're married to me.
Exactly, mate. I had to post my wife everywhere today, and probably let's see where me and her could, I could search up this night. But it is what it is, yeah. Dom, thanks for showing up today. 1 hour, 30 minutes, decent a shift done today. Hopefully next week. Dom, because I will be having a free week, yeah. So there's no work for me. Both my
Lucky
first
you.
job and my second job totally free. So it would be good if we could get some couple of shows done this week. Couple of shows, yeah. So not just on Thursday. It would be good if we could get something done.
It's going to have to be late. I should say it's going to have to be late this week because I've got to go into London Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday this week.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So they're going to have to be later shows, but we should be able to sort something out.
Late is not bad. We can do one on we could do one on Tuesday, or one on Monday if you like. I would like to compile, to do Monday and Thursday we could do 2 shows. So
it'd probably have to be 7 o'clock to 7:45 on Monday because I play footy. And then Thursday,
no,
I can do
much later in the night.
Yeah, I can do that. I can do that. I can do that.
Yeah. But again, I will let you know. If we do it Monday or do it Tuesday. So any of those days, can you do late nights and any of those?
Yeah,
days?
I can do late night in both of those, but I can't do Tuesday because I do footy corner on Tuesdays.
Okay. Then I'll be looking forward to maybe Monday night, maybe around 9 p.m. or something, 8.
That to be just after I play football till about 9, so I need to just get back quickly.
Yeah, like 9 something. Yeah.
That works for me.
Yeah. So because I'll be having full-time holiday, so it'd be nice to get shows in and do multiple shows and get that in. See, predictions for the game tomorrow against Wigan.
So hard to do, isn't it? Because you just don't know what it's the FA Cup. Yeah. I'm going to go 3-0.
Do you think they're in for a pummeling?
Who knows? It's also one of those ones where if I'm Arteta, when you're 2-0 up, I'd probably just go, do you know what? Let's pump the brakes. Let's get the rest in. You don't need to expend injury unless you've won the game. Just win the game. Keep the ball. It won't be that's probably what I would do if you can get 2-0 up, and you'll probably nick a third. But I'm going to go 3-0.
Oh,
how about
3-0.
you? Yeah, what's your prediction?
Big up to Josh ACM7, my guy. He says you guys should be watching Inter Milan versus Juventus. What a match so far. Yeah, I'm seeing the scoreline. Inter Milan has taken the lead on that one, 2-1 or so. So it's a very big one. But again, Juventus have fallen off the season, innit? So, Inter Milan, are looking like the likely ones to win that league title. And again, if Arsenal could beat Inter Milan, that should show you Arsenal's levels this season in the Champions League or in Europe anyway. So that's why I'm saying, looking at it, Arsenal are still the kings to beat in Europe. So, I mean, we can talk about Bayern Munich with their full-time players. We can talk of FC Barcelona, but I'm looking at Atletico Madrid and what they meted out to FC Barcelona just the other day, and I'm like saying, what is this? This Barcelona team is a beatable team. In fact, if there's anything Arsenal have proven in the last 2 seasons in the Champions League, is that Spanish oppositions are not the oppositions they used to be. Arsenal can comfortably beat these teams in Europe. Even the top hierarchy, in terms of the Spanish teams, teams from the Italian Serie A have all, been meted out with justice from Arsenal. Atletico Madrid took the pounding. Real Madrid a season ago, Arsenal flushed them down the sewer. Bro, Inter Milan took a big beating. Dog walked them. It is what it is. Arsenal are still the kings in Europe.
We got to do it when it counts. But right now we are one of the best sides in Europe without question.
Definitely. And Dom, with that, I'll be saying Arsenal is going to win by 5-0. I think Wigan will be pounded tomorrow heavily.
Yeah, I think if Arsenal don't pump the brakes, then I think I could see you being absolutely spot on. I just think at 2-0, especially if we get 2-0 like 30, 35 minutes in, I could just see Arteta going, conserve the energy, boys. We've got Wolves in the week. It's a much bigger game, as is Tottenham at the weekend. Yeah. Pump the brakes, conserve your energy. Let's just get out of this. Let's get out of this one 2-0. Because ultimately in the FA Cup, doesn't matter whether you win 1-0 with it going in off someone's backside or you win 10-0. You're through or you're not. And I could the reason for my 3-0 is because I just think we will go, that's it, we've won the game, let's just see it out. But if we go full throttle the whole way through, then I think you're absolutely right, it could be 5-6.
Yeah, because I'm looking at players who have something to prove, who might be coming back from injury and might want to really have those minutes, and they would have to keep going just to tell the manager, hey, see me, I'm ready.
I'm still here.
Yeah, I'm still here. So that's where my doubts come in with that handbrake thing. I think they will push forward for it. I think they would say, you know what, yeah, I'm here, manager, I want to play, manager, I'm serious. I want to score goals. People like Bukayo Saka would look at the whole thing going on with Madueke and say, you know what, yeah, manager, I just came back from injury.
Remember me, yeah.
Okay, I'm running. I can chip in
I think that's perfectly possible. I think that is perfect. I think that is equally possible.
Yeah, exactly. So we will be preaching to the choir if we're down here telling Bukayo Saka to turn down the engines. He's gonna say, man, do you want Madueke to take my spot away? And the World Cup is coming. These players, they're out there with a mission, but I don't know. With Arsenal players, how much are they showing they want to be in the World Cup? Mostly for Eze. I'm really wondering what's really going on. And maybe on Monday, Dom, we might be looking incisively into this Eze thing. I think we need to go in-depthly into what's the matter. We need to dig up the statistics. You're a stats guy, I'm a stats guy. Let's dig into the stats. Let's see what's really going on. Let's see his hit map. Let's see what the heck is the problem. Because you can't be telling me that Eze, who was a talisman at Crystal Palace, is a complete shite player at Arsenal. I don't believe it. You can't tell me that. And he's done it over the years in Crystal Palace, only to come down here and stink up the place. I don't agree with that. There's something endemically wrong with that assertion in itself. I find it faulty. I find it, bro, there's something wrong in it. Again, I might be wrong. Maybe Eze was a big shark in a small ocean. Yeah, maybe he has that syndrome of playing in a bigger club. I don't know, but either way, we have to look at it on Monday or Tuesday, and
definitely,
and see where we can go with those arguments. Because with what is happening to Eze, I'm not buying it, Tom. I am not buying it. I don't know if you're buying it though.
Yeah, I think he's, I was a big proponent of signing him. I don't think he's hit the heights that we'd have wanted yet consistently. He was always a bit of a moments player at Palace, to be fair, but he was certainly more consistent than he's been here. I think it's partly because of Palace. There's much more space to operate in than there is when you're in Arsenal, and I think he needs to adapt to that. But I think I'm disappointed he hasn't adapted as quickly as I would have hoped, given the fact that he wasn't adapting to a new country or a new league
Mm.
at all. I also think that centrally isn't where he played at Palace either. Maybe that's affecting him, but he certainly needs to improve. It's in there for sure, and you're exactly right. He's definitely got to show that he can get the England spot, because he will not want to lose his place, and there is a danger he does that. But
Yeah,
we should dive
definitely.
into it more on Monday.
Yeah, definitely. We'll have to look, in depthly into that. All the stats and all the adjoining information that could help us get a panoramic view of what's really happening to AZ. Josh ACM7 says here, says, big up to Josh here. He says, yes, definitely count out ban for Champions League. Yes, they've dropped some point versus smaller clubs, but my goodness, how about Harry Kane this year? How about break his all-time goal record? Oh my days, bro.
Yeah,
Harry
I'm glad to
Kane.
see he's not playing for Tottenham anymore.
That's a different story. Don, what do you got coming up, my bro? What do you got coming up this week? Apart from us doing
Um,
something maybe Monday and
yeah,
Thursday.
I've obviously got the Wigan preview tomorrow, and then there'll be three things we learnt from the Wigan game on Monday, because I won't get match reaction out because I'm at the game. And then I've got a video coming out around what Premier League titles are historically like, that I haven't actually recorded yet, but plan to record if depending on how things go this week. Then there'll be the Wolves preview. But there's videos out nearly every day. A couple of interesting ones out at the moment. One on Eze, actually, from 2 days ago, and then one on
Okay.
MLS. Should he play in midfield tomorrow is currently out as well. So do check them out if you're interested on my channel, which someone helpfully put in the chat earlier, which was very
Yeah,
kind of
yeah,
them.
yeah. Kai put it down there. Arsenal domination. Peter, please subscribe to our guy, Dom, at Arsenal domination. Josh, big up to you. Please, everyone down here, subscribe to Arsenal domination. Peter says here, he says, Eze can't perform under a rigid system. He needs a free roll to get the best out of it. Bro, well said. Well said, Peter. Well said. Peter knows ball. But again, Dom, how correct is this
I
statement
think I
from
think there
Peter
is something in that.
316?
Which is obviously at Palace, he was so much better. He could have that free role. I think at Arsenal,
Mm,
you're one of many good players, and we are more of a structured side. But that's where I think just out on that left hand side, he will get more of that sort of freedom. Arguably, you could say he could do it in the 10 with the way sort of Kai Havertz's role is, but it's so important that you could still get back and do your defensive work there. We see Odegaard do it, who I think should be further up. You see Havertz do it, even though he is further up, still make that. That's where he still needs to do it, and that's where he needs that discipline in there. But I do think that it will come through. But I'd like to see him on the left more, because I think he can be freer out there. I think he can do more out there. He's got more space to operate out there. And I
yeah.
think what he's really struggling is, and he's got it in him to do it, but he's struggling with just adjusting to that sort of up level in expectations, up level in lack of space, and up level in terms of what you're expected to do as an Arsenal player. They're the sort of things he's struggling with. But I do think that a little bit more freedom for a player like that. There's a danger that he becomes a Jack Grealish of Arsenal, right? Where the free player
Mm,
becomes too structured and too safe. And I don't think you can let that go out of him.
yeah, definitely. People, tomorrow I'm doing the watch along. Probably maybe Baggett will be down here with me for Arsenal versus Wigan home game. Should be a cozy one to just sit down on the couch and just really relax my back and just watch that game. Yeah, pretty easy watch it should be tomorrow, unless unless Ateta does hocus pocus tomorrow. I don't think there's any way we're losing that game. On Monday, probably maybe me and Dom will be back. Me and the boys will be back for the panel show Monday Night Madness. Me, Bant, Craig will be back in the grind. Dr. Samo might be popping in on that one. BBK Sports Mouse will be popping in on that one. And many of all these guys will be popping into the panel show from me and my friend, the Waffle Don. So that one is going to be coming up tomorrow. That will be on Monday. Me and Dom on Monday or Tuesday, any which one. That when we check our schedule and see which one what fits. I think Arsenal have that Wolves game on Wednesday.
They do, yeah.
Yes, on Wednesday. On Wednesday, full-fledged watch-along game. So people, it's to be a high-pressured one. Wolves is fighting relegation. Are they already relegated already?
Oh, not mathematically, but yes.
Not mathematically, yeah, but they'll be getting the chop, that's for sure. So, again, another tough match going against these teams hovering around the relegation waters, and that's a dangerous place to be. Funny enough, Arsenal might escape these teams, but instead, we'll see Manchester City from now to the end of the month battle, with at least three back-to-back teams hovering around relegation waters. They have to play Leeds in one of those matches. They also have to play Nottingham Forest in one of those matches. Tough matches, if you ask me. They also have to play Bournemouth. That's a very horrible team to go play away from home. So they have all these matches against mid-table and relegation.
Between now and the League Cup, City have Newcastle next. Then, as you say, away at Leeds. Then, bless you. Then Forest home, West Ham away. They're the games they've got between now and the League Cup. We obviously their game against Palace. Their game against Palace will be played post League Cup. Our game against Wolves, which is postponed on that weekend, is obviously pre because Palace are playing in Europe next week and Wolves obviously aren't. So that's their fixtures.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, Peter.
Mind you, ours are a lot tougher. Ours are a lot tougher.
Yeah, ours are a lot tougher, but you're looking at it from the standpoint of, oh, these are mid-table teams. But I think that these relegation fighting teams, are even more dangerous.
They can be,
They're more dangerous right now to play against than mid-table teams.
Because they're fighting for their lives.
Mid-table teams would be like, okay, let's just try and advance forward. There's nothing more to get, nothing more to lose. But these relegation-bound teams, they're not going down like that. They want to fight. Teams like Leeds were fighting. I mean, they're going to be throwing limbs, foot, mouth, everything. Everything. They're going to the kitchen sink. They're going to throw everything at it. Leeds is a difficult team to play away from home. Yeah. So, and I think that's an away game for.
It is an away game for them. Yeah, they're at Ellen Road.
It's an away game exactly at Ellen Road. Everyone knows that Ellen Road is a dangerous place to go to. Mostly at this times, mostly when they're in a relegation battle. Nottingham Forest in a relegation battle. Young Gunner, big up to you. He says, hey, lads, big up to you, Young Gunner. Hope you're good, my brother, man. You came at the tail end of the show, but it's all good. Peter, my brother, says, bless up the chart. But again, these relegation teams, I'd rather not be playing them. I'd rather go and face teams like all this Everton and try.
Everton that are going nowhere, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Particularly as we got Everton at home.
Yeah, we've got Everton at home. But, bro, it will be completely undesirable to face a team like Nottingham Forest fighting right now.
Well, they've sacked yet another manager, of course.
Exactly, manager bound again. So, I mean, come on, man. There is no way I want to be playing those kind of teams right now. They'll be scrapping for points. Even if they don't get to win, they could get to share the spoils, of the match, which would still be detrimental to our chase for the title. We don't need no draws. What we need is just wins from now to the end of the season. So it is what it is. If we're gonna be facing mid-table teams, so be it. Provided we get the points, it's our mentality, that matters. Our mental strength. So Mikel Arteta.
Well, we play. The fixtures are what the fixtures are. The old cliche: if you play everyone twice, as you say, you just got to win as many points as you can. And I think we will drop points between now and the end of the season. So will City, and we'll see who drops the most.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. People, thanks for joining me and Dom. I mean, it started a little bit heated way, but sometimes that's needed. Dom is equally, equal to the task. I mean, Dom can hold his own. Dom, I should give it to you, man. You're a pressure cooker.
No, I'm all good. I'm all good.
Sometimes I really try to rile up my guests at times, but you're no longer a guest down here. Your family down here on this channel. This show definitely belongs to me and you. So definitely, thanks for joining us today, and hopefully, let's all can do on Monday, Tuesday, or Thursday also. So people, smash the like button. Please make sure you subscribe. Young Gunner, make sure you subscribe. Beto, make sure you subscribe to our friend and brother Dom at Arsenal Domination channel. It does lots of shorts, completely nothing to bore you about, just some certain kind of amazing shots. But again, it packs lots of, interesting and lots of great starts too, and if you just want to know the modus operandi of Arsenal and how we go about things, how we go about our gameplay and targeted player reviews and stuff like that. Arsenal Domination is the channel to go. I go down there to drop some likes for my brother. I go there to watch
Always
some of his stuff.
appreciated.
I'm genuinely, yeah. I'm genuinely interested in his stuff. And again, I like seeing you alone talking about football. It's seamless. It's amazing. Although you're a little more serious, there's this seriousness about you when you're really there. I hardly see the smiles, but when you come down to the show here, the smiles are there. But when you are on your channel, it's a serious. It's a serious Dom I'm getting there. So
There's the
some
odd
of my
throwaway. There's
cheeky
the odd
faces I
throwaway
get
line, right?
on your
Yeah,
channel.
there's no one to bounce off, but there's the odd throwaway line in there. To be fair, but look,
Yeah.
it's quite something to pack into 3 minutes. But if you like a quick 3 minute download, then which will be not biased. It will be as balanced as I possibly can be. Try and set both sides of it. And I like my facts as well. Then I'm definitely worth checking out because I do roughly a 3 minute show every day. Tomorrow is actually a long form video, which is about 5 minutes if I remember rightly on Wigan, but mostly it's a 3 minute show a day.
Yeah.
And I get a lot into it. To be fair, it's quite something.
It's quite packed with lots of. It's quite packed. So people go support our brother Arsenal Domination on this channel, Arsenal Domination. Big up to you, Dom. Thanks, and people, catch you guys soon. Yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow for that watch along where we could just sit, eat, relax, enjoy, have a drink, and watch Arsenal win in a typical
Hopefully.
FA Cup game. Yeah, so catch you guys tomorrow. And from me and Dom, it's peace, people. Peace.